My bad.
What's happening, good people? It's your man, Patrick the Game Changer Jackson here. Back at it again, man. We got some great topics that we're going to talk about today. Yes, we're going to talk about a few things today, and we want you to join the conversation. Now, your boy, he's at the airport. We're going to be getting it in. You're going to hear some stuff in the background, but we're going to have a good conversation on today, man. Listen, if you want to win some free comedy show tickets, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the page. Make sure you get up in these comments because we got a lot to talk about. We got the Shannon Sharpe situation that's going down. Yes, Shannon Sharpe. I know y'all done heard about it. The Shannon Sharpe. Our brother Unc is in a whole situation. But is he? We shall talk about it. We're going to dive into it. Shador Sanders not getting drafted in the first round, the second round, the third round, fourth round, but God dog it, he got drafted in the fifth round, and there's a whole bunch of talk around that. And we also gonna bring up one more topic that we're gonna keep in store for you, man. Listen, make sure you go ahead and make sure you hit the comments, say hello as you jump up in here, and we're gonna have this conversation for y'all because guess what? We're gonna keep it real. He said, she said. The crew will be here in just a moment. We'll be right back. What's happening, good people? What's happening? Yes, we about to get it in, man. We about to have this conversation as we are about to unveil what's going on with the Shannon Sharpe and also Shadur Sanders situation. And we're gonna have a couple of things that we're gonna talk about as well. Again, I'm at the airport, so don't be alarmed if you hear some other stuff in the background and stuff. Don't mind me, but we're gonna have this conversation anyhow. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Monty, and then Persevering Jen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Monty C. Wilson, and I'm here to talk about these situations tonight. It's very, very, very good topics tonight.
Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Persevering Jen, back again, and I'm ready to tap in. Holla at me.
All right, we're about to go ahead and tap into the situation, man, and these conversations that we're about to have. Of course, make sure that y'all like, share, subscribe. Make sure y'all get up in them comments as we're gonna have this conversation. We want to hear your opinion as we go deep diving into these topics. So make sure you say your opinion because we want to know. Now, first thing is up. We got Unc. We got Unc. Who is Uncle Shannon Sharpe, man? Shannon Sharpe, what's happening with our brother Shannon Sharpe? And it's a tough thing to see, Shannon going to his height of heights to really knocking down this whole media game by storm, about to sign a whole new $100,000. No, I said 100,000, 100 million, hundred
Yeah,
million
almost there.
dollar contract, man. And for him to be going through an actual uh, what he calls a shakedown, other call a lawsuit uh, from a young lady that he has been engaged with, and all this stuff is just starting to spew out. Now, look back to this. The lawyer that is on this case is Tony Busby. Those who don't know who Tony Busby is, he's the same lawyer that is with the case against Jay-Z and all these other celebrities. So it seemed like he's a celebrity lawyer that a lot of people go to if they're trying to sue one of these high end celebrities. And I guess he's viewed as the guy that's kind of fearless to go after them. So, but we're gonna play this clip from Monique that Jen had sent to us about what Monique had a conversation sitting on Shannon's couch a while back, and this thing has resurfaced, and so we kind of want to know y'all thoughts on it as we that deep dive into this conversation, because sometimes these things that have happened in the past we forget about. Here we go.
I don't hear the audio.
You don't
Yeah,
hear the
audio.
audio?
No, I
No.
don't hear it either.
Let me hold on. There we go. Let me refresh it. Let's go.
Come on. Oh, they talk to us. How this dating thing? Because it's Mo is different now than when you and I.
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
When you try to say what you trying to say, Mo,
I'm looking right at you.
I know
I'm
you looking at me.
I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, Mo.
Now I'm looking right at y'all. Let me tell y'all what Shannon needs.
Let me be my
Let me tell you what my baby needs. He need him an old fat gal who can bake good cakes, make some smothered turkey wings, who gonna rub his feet at the nighttime, okay, and gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
I do.
This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old ass and get your old bitch out there that can love you old. You trying to hang out with these young bitches and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it.
Damn.
When they want you to go for the fourth round, you looking at her like, bitch, listen, I need you want some money to go to Starbucks?
Yeah.
Because I can't go no further. But if you get your older girl, when you get to that fourth round, she's gonna say, hold on. Let me go get you some eggs and cheese and some toast with apple butter, because that's gonna get your energy back up. I'm talking right to you. Shit. So he was doing, I was gonna be scared to yes, I'm talking, and I know an old gal, she'll be good to you. Her name is Elladora. Now, when you know somebody named Elladora, she's old school. Mm-hmm. Now, Miss Elladora told me to tell you. She said, I think he like red velvet.
Oh, I do.
I say, Miss Elladora, if he do like that, she said, you let him know I got something for him.
Yeah, I like
she don't have no teeth. Come on, pick your glass up and clap for me. Come on now. These young gals will bite you. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, guess I gotta come on home.
Come on home, Shannon. And y'all stop putting lies out about my brother, because I was in my feelings when y'all said he didn't date black women. Y'all stop that shit. You stop it. Now he might throw a white one in there every now and again. And it's okay. It's okay. Because sometimes we ain't into everything. We don't do everything. So sometimes Uncle Shay Shay need a spice of life.
Yeah, see? There you go.
He need to go cross the street, but he always gonna come back. That's all we said to you, Oakland Tyler. Come on home. Come on home. Come on home.
Oh,
All right. So y'all hearing that. Some of the backstory, understanding what's going on now. What's your thoughts?
Where do I begin? Full disclosure, I watch Shannon's I even hate to use this word religiously. Um, uh, Not so much that one. That's his club, Shay Shay, when he interviews one on one with celebrities. But I watched his other one, Nightcap,
The nightcap.
with
Ocho.
Ocho Cinco,
Mm-hmm.
and just give you a little bit of backstory. Also, um, Ocho quite a bit, quite often tries to hook up Shannon with a woman, and he lectures him quite a bit. And now Monique was being funny right there, whatever. But Ocho does it a lot too. Ocho almost all the time tries to tell him to settle down. You need to get, I got one for you. I got a doctor. My woman's friend knows somebody that's interested in da 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 da. He always
Mm-hmm.
tries to get him to settle down, and Shannon always pushes back on that because I'm too busy and I'm too strict. And Shannon has a lot of twerks, personality twerks and things that he requires out of a woman. One of them is, a woman can't fart in his house, or she can't go to the bathroom in his house, or stuff like that, right? Number two,
What?
sort of thing. And he
What?
has a lot of weird things. So so I say this to say this. I don't know what happened between him and this woman or these women, obviously because I wasn't there. It does look like it's some sort of shakedown. This guy Tony Busby, what they do is they get something damaging on you, and then they threaten to expose you, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, what is it worth to you? Now, if you're a millionaire, whether you're guilty or not, if it's something damaging, like something on audio, like a sex tape, which what they have, a sex tape alone would be damaging enough. I don't care what I'm doing on the sex tape. I could be breaking your back, but busting your back out for an hour and looking good. You know what I mean? Everything about it looked good. It looked like it could be on you know what I'm saying, on Pornhub. It could be great. But I don't want that thing. I don't want that out because that's embarrassing to me. Because if I'm a TV personality, now all of a sudden a tape comes out, you know, I could be fired because of that. You know what I mean? They fire you because when you're on TV like he is, or celebrity, you sign a contract and this thing says if you do anything embarrassing, we can let you go for
We
whatever,
can
for
let
no,
you go.
for
Mm-hmm.
no cause. Yeah. So he knew that he had a lot to lose. So I don't take much into the fact that he wanted to settle for that 10 million because she had a sex tape. Now, why you got a sex tape with this guy? And why do you have this audio and blah blah blah? If you listen to the audio, you could tell they kind of talking about kind of sex talk. So you could tell that was their thing.
Yep.
Um, being physical and that sort of thing. She's baiting him. She's trying to get him to talk about this choking thing, and he's kind of like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna choke you. He's really disengaged, almost like, yeah, I don't even want to talk this, but I'm gonna just talk it because that's what we do, sort of thing. So I really think she's trying to shake him down. At some point, she came up and figured out that this is over. Now let me cash in. Now she probably had this on her mind the whole time. But with that being
Yeah.
said, I can't let Shannon completely off the hook. Just because the hypocrisy is what got me. Okay, the hypocrisy. This man speaks about this stuff ad nauseum. I'm talking about ad nauseum. He goes on these rants all by himself, just going. Ocho just sitting there being quiet about how careful he is, how he don't go nowhere, how this, you know what I mean. And he criticizes so many other players. He criticizes players to the point to where I don't even know why ain't nobody done tried to fight this dude. He's a big time criticizer. He criticizes people probably as good and as often as anybody. He's really good at it. And so
Now let
that's the part that disappoints me is that the hypocrisy is like, bro, you let this woman, you let she was 19 when you met, so she what, 21? You let a 21-year-old youngin
finesse finesse you.
finesse you like this. You didn't see this coming, brother. Out of all the talk you do, out of
It's a
so-called
shakedown for
advice
sure.
and criticizing that you've given people, all these other players, for all the stuff that they've done, and all these stories that you told about how you used to do all this stuff back in the day and how you can't do it no more. You see, I don't go nowhere. I don't go nowhere. See, that's why I don't go nowhere. I go to my place, and then you talk about his cars, how his cars only got 5,000 miles on it, and he done had the car for 10 years because I don't go nowhere, Ocho. I don't go nowhere. I just go to where I gotta go when I
He
listen.
showed the character at that point, right? So you brought
Yeah,
up
so
the tape. Let's play a little clip. Let me play a little clip of what he was saying. Let me see. Where is it at?
This is which tape? This is the
I,
this is audio, audio of the
like,
tape that they released.
Yeah,
Is this a phone conversation? Okay.
Okay, yeah, I never heard this. Let me see.
yeah. This should be the phone conversation. Let me see if I can get it to play.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like,
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
what? What does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a to me now, so
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
oh Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna choke the out of you when I see you.
My nigga.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Awkward silence.
I don't.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
So that was the clip that was released, right? So that was the actual
Right.
clip that was released for the actual uh uh that Tony Busby as the lawyer, he released it.
Mm,
So that was the clip that was kind of the one that they were saying that was supposed to be
Yeah.
damaging and showing, the choking part and stuff like that. But Shannon came out and said, "Why don't you play the? It's like a 10-minute
Right.
clip situation, right?"
And he says it's edited. And don't forget too. He released some text messages that clearly they talk to each other because she was initiating a lot of that type of stuff, showing that it was consensual, that they had a consensual relationship because she was texting him a lot of sexual stuff,
A whole lot.
so a whole lot of sexual stuff. And that's another thing too that was,
She said some
just,
weird stuff in there that was
yeah,
kind of
let's talk about
uncomfortable.
that. Let's talk about that.
okay,
I mean,
I didn't get a chance to see
she
Let me see
any
if
of
I
said
can pull up the text messages
that. Cause
too.
wow, I just
she's there's
that's
something
wild.
like, how you letting a woman talk to you like that, bruh?
Put a big black baby in me and stuff. Like, it was
Yeah.
weird. It was
Wait,
weird.
what?
Yeah.
She kept on talking about putting a big black baby in me and all this type of stuff. And
Oh
when you put
wow.
that big black baby in me, this is gonna happen. It's what
It
kind
was
of
kind of
conversations y'all having? And even if you listen to that conversation, they didn't have. You could tell they had nothing to really to talk about. It was a bunch of pauses. Sound like he was probably working or doing something on the other end. She wasn't even talking, and he wasn't even like caring. Like it's almost like he's doing something off to the side, and she take 30 seconds to respond, and he don't even care.
Yeah, because that awkward silence that I just heard right there was weird. Like, okay, what's going
Yeah,
on? It was weird.
I mean, at that point, she's recording this stuff. So at
Right.
that point, she probably already went and got a lawyer, and the lawyer probably already advised her, like, okay, this is how we really need to get. Do you have any audio recordings? Do you have it? Well, we need to get some. We need to get
Okay,
him on audio
right.
saying that he chokes you. Get him to talk about choking. Blah 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 blah. And then and then I guess they released a piece of the sex tape, the actual video, and he said that it's edited because he said it doesn't show that everything in this tape is consensual. You know what I mean? So obviously they did some stuff that was a little bit violent looking, supposedly, and he was like, "Yo, it was consensual." But to be just,
right.
it's to be
Yeah, it
this
had to been
stupid,
because
man.
he offered her 10 million and she didn't want to accept the 10 million to settle. She going for the 50. So
Yeah,
in
that's
order,
when you start having conversations with people, right? So, you start having conversations with the lawyers and stuff like that. Then they kind of bring their 2 cents into it. and what they believe you can get from it and all that type of stuff. So he's yeah, he's in a tight place for real.
Yeah. Now this Tony Busby dude, we gotta. Not only did he try to sue Zay, he tried to sue Jay Z, but now Jay Z is suing him
Okay, I knew that
because
Right.
name sounded familiar.
they had to drop that case
Mm.
against Jay Z because the inconsistencies in the young girl's testimony. The
Mm-hmm.
dad came out and said that supposedly, just so you know, that the dad,
They
she
got
claimed that she was so messed up her dad had to come pick her up.
Mm.
But the dad is like, I don't remember ever having to come pick her up, and it was like 5 hours away. So the dad was like, I would have remembered having to go drive 5 hours to go get
Right.
her.
yeah.
No, not
It was even. I think it was one of the other artists you said that was there. He was.
Yeah,
It was already stamped that he was on tour somewhere else.
right, right. But
That he
then,
wasn't
and
even
then, yeah,
in the vicinity of the
yeah,
party. He was at. He
oh,
was
they
like
can't
out of the
even get their
country.
lie right.
right. He
They
was out of
can't
the
even get
country.
their lie right.
And then
Yeah.
it gets worse. Jay Z is claiming in his lawsuit that the woman now has jumped ship into his side and is telling him that the dude Busby coached me to say this stuff.
Mm.
Oh. Oh, he
Mm.
in trouble.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Jay Z smart.
So the dude is
Get that girl a couple
yeah,
of dollars.
Right.
yeah, the
Get a.
guy is an extortionist. The first time I saw him, I knew he was an extortionist.
I said get that girl a couple of dollars and go after him.
I'm
Yeah,
dying.
Oh man, she said she gonna get paid some type of way.
she gonna
If you
get paid
can't beat
some
him,
type of
join
way.
him.
Yeah, but the fact that he's just like I say, he speaks about this stuff ad nauseum for this to happen to him, and he messed up everything. He's always
Yeah,
talking about how many people that he has working for him and their lives, how important this is that he can't fumble the bag because I got 8 people on the payroll now, and I got my brother and my sister and his mother still alive. He take care
he
of
does
all
say
them. He
that.
said my sister haven't worked since 1994 or something like that. Because you got to remember if you don't know, Jen, his brother was in the NFL also,
Mm.
right? His brother was in the NFL like
Yeah, Sterling
three
Sharp.
years, 3 years before him. His brother is Sterling Sharp, who
Mm.
should be in well, he is in the Hall of Fame
He
now.
is in the
I
Hall
don't
of
know.
Fame now.
He,
Yeah.
he, yeah, well, no, they didn't have the actual ceremony yet, right?
Well, he was selected this year.
Yeah, yeah, they haven't had this actual ceremony, but the brother was a very, very, very good football player during like the Jerry Rice era,
Yeah,
and his
Okay.
him and
brother.
he was up there with Jerry.
Okay.
Right. He was battling back
Jerry
and forth
Rice,
and being the
Deion
top.
Sanders, when they
Yeah,
was
we know
back
how
doing
good
their thing.
Jerry Rice is, okay? Many people believe Jerry Rice is the greatest of all time. That's,
I believe that.
yeah, many
I
people
wasn't a
believe that.
Rice fan. My mama was though.
Yeah. So this guy was up there like that. But what happened to him is that he only got to play 7 seasons, I believe, because he got a back injury and the doctor told him like you can get hit one more time and you can be paralyzed. So he
Mm-hmm.
retired early.
Mm.
Yep.
So Shannon talks about him and all the guidance that he gave him, and all that. And he always brings up his grandparents, and he tells these stories of what his grandma told him, his grandpa told him. It's really good stories and they're really good life lessons. So to hear this from him, it's just like, bruh,
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. It came back to bite him because he's such a hypocrite. Like
he's very critical of people.
yes, basically not practicing what you preach. One of them type of
Right.
people. Yeah,
Now we
and
all
I
go
didn't
Hmm.
out
see.
there and we all go out there and have some, have some ideas of how things should be and how and we might fall short of that.
Yeah,
You
we
know what I
do
mean?
fall short.
But
Yeah,
we all
but
fall
he
short.
fell.
But still,
He fell all the way short. He
but
fell
yeah,
flat on his face, boy.
Well, I mean, I think that's it's a perspective, right? So if he's he messed up in a few ways of him being critical of being careful. Now he has these quirks and stuff about himself, right? He had
he
these
does.
whatever quirks or whatever he has to go through these fantasy things that some whatever people do in their bedroom, what they do, and so he has this, I guess, role playing that he is okay with. I guess being the big black uh, head in charge, and then you got this this girl using this language towards you that makes it seem like yeah, the whatever quirky thing that is, I think that's makes it almost 10 times x the uncomfortableness to the public
Yeah,
because number one, she was already super young, and people are viewing that, she's not 18, 19 years old at the time y'all are interacting. She is an OnlyFans chick. um and then looking at the age, right? The huge age difference.
And
Number
her
one,
color.
she's legal. Period. That's what it is. As long as she ain't underage, she ain't doing no R. Kelly stuff. But the perception to the rest of the world is what it goes into when you're talking about advertisers and you talk about ESPN and Disney. Disney is ESPN, so you dealing with an issue right there,
Right.
with it being so close in age, of it being the age gap and the public perception of you is what they're paying you for, and so if they turn their back on you, advertising dollars, of course, first take. You got Stephen A. bringing you on to do all those things. Man, that's a whole nother situation. And I guess my question is, because there's so many layers to it, is the age thing a major problem today with him being almost 60 and she's 19? Is that a huge problem today just from that perspective?
Of
You know
course.
what? Before I believe I've seen him on there before saying because he has a daughter that's in her 30s,
Uh-huh.
and he has talked about that about how the age of my daughter compared to the people that I marry, that I mess around with or something like that. And I believe that he's insinuated that he wouldn't go below the daughter. Like if I would have expected him because he seems like he more brags about women being with women in their 30s is what he normally talks about. He don't necessarily. I've seen him on there talk about women in their 20s, and he'd be like, "Oh no, no, I can't go that low." I've seen him say that.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to be going for a woman that's 19, when he's that age, is absolutely ridiculous. Because I've seen him talk bad about people messing around with somebody in their 20s.
Mm, mm,
So but is it a listen? He obviously was using this woman as just a sexual toy.
Right.
He has some sort of control fetish or whatever, obviously, based on the stuff that the way
That
he's
he's
treating
writing,
her and
treating her and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah, whatever
right. The
role
way
play
he's
he like
treating
to
her and
play.
talking to her, he has some sort of control issue. Like you're like just a little young nothing, and you could tell the way. Here's another. You could tell listening to him talk. I've always seen little bitty chinks in his armor. I've seen chinks in his armor. And little things that you see and you hear and you be like what I mean, that little bitty pricks.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of want to, if you like the guy, you like his show, you kind of want to be on his side, but I've seen little bitty chinks in his armor.
mm.
So should somebody that age be messing around with somebody 19? I'm gonna say absolutely not. And I
Okay.
could be, and
That's
I could say
cringe.
absolutely not.
It's cringe. It make him look
Spe-
bad.
and when I'm
You said
talking
it.
about, especially when and what I mean by that is when you're someone of his stature who has a lot to lose. No way.
That
If
right
you're
there.
Monty C. Wilson, I feel like I would have something to lose if I did
That
something
right
that I
there. I don't nothing else to say. I ain't got nothing else to say. You
nothing.
said it all because that's
I'm a
ridiculous.
nobody.
So Jim, from a
I'm
woman's
a
perspective,
nobody. I got something to lose.
what why
If
why
I
is that why is that a cringe? You said it's cringe. What's
Yeah, I
cringy
mean
about that?
because being that age, she's old enough. I mean, she's young. I mean, you might as well consider her as his granddaughter at that age. I mean, I'm just saying, you got kids in their 30s and she's that age. Come on now, that's to me that's like pedophilia, to be trying to talk to somebody of
Ooh,
that age.
ooh.
I mean, that's what I look at it as. That's come on now, how could you stoop that
See that
low?
we got that'd be my question too. Is that we once we start putting that label there is a question mark that's there, because that's the people's feelings, right? We feel that way, but then that's why we have legal ages for a reason. There's a legal age, and then
Exactly.
whatever people decide to play within that range, they play within that range. Do we feel uncomfortable about it? Yeah, but then with people, that's why people have to be careful, like a Shannon Sharpe, because that what you just said, the p word get
Yeah.
you end up trying to get that type of label because that's the feeling that somebody gets when they see that,
Right.
and that's the heart. That's that he and I think he should know that being somebody
Come on now,
He
exactly.
that's
should know
of
that.
his
Yeah.
stature.
Think about that. This
It,
woman, she's somebody's child. But not only that, how would he feel? Look, if his child was that age and the roles was reversed. You know what I'm saying?
oh
Somebody of
no,
his
he'd act the
age,
fool. He'd
he
act
will
the
act
fool.
a plum
He
fool.
He
he
probably
acts a
would.
fool.
He
He
will
acts
act
a
a
I
fool
can
plum
see
on
that.
little
fool.
tiny stuff.
You
He acts
feel
a
me?
fool on how many times he brushed his teeth a day
Look,
and his
come
dog
on
on the bed.
now.
I mean, all kind of stuff he acts a fool over.
This
Like,
girl, her brain is not even fully developed yet. 19 years
No, she ain't even
old.
fully developed
Her
at
brain ain't
all.
fully developed yet. So it's
Not
just
at all.
the thought of you going seeking out, even if it is sexual, you seeking after this young child whose brain not fully developed. She can consent, but at the end of the day, look at you. Look at the age difference between you and this girl. She's a baby. She's considered a baby.
yeah.
See,
And,
so, some of you know what I saw though. This is what I saw too, which it ain't funny, but it's a point that some of the dudes was making on some of the comments. They were saying, "Listen, he was probably trying to get something young. He ain't trying to get through all these old people that's been ran through. He was trying to get something that a little bit tight. It ain't been ran through and stuff." And I was like,
That
I was
don't
like,
mean
that.
nothing.
Come on, man.
hey,
Come
that's
on,
you know
man.
what?
That
Come
don't
on
even
now.
make sense.
It
I'm
doesn't.
about to be 50. Hey, the Lord's will, I'm gonna be 54. That's what my grandmother used to say. Anything in the future, my grandmother would
I
say,
always say
it's the
Lord's will.
Lord's will.
Yeah, me too.
It'll be like
God's
10
willing.
minutes from now. In the Lord's will, in 10
That's
minutes,
right. That's
I'm gonna
right.
watch this TV show.
That's what I say. I just got done reading that scripture. No, that's the truth. I just got done reading that
So
scripture.
I'm gonna say that I'm thinking about my grandmother right now, and the
The
Lord's
Lord's
will,
willing. You
I'm gonna
had a
be
good grandmother.
54. I'm gonna be 54 next month,
Come on now.
right? And ain't nobody looking for no. I like my women ripe, okay? I don't want no piece of fruit that's still hard and I can't even get the peel off. You know what I mean?
I'm done.
Because you know how you ever peel a orange and you peel
And
it
it
and
still
then the
got that
white
white
stuff
stuff.
The
still
white stuff
stuck on
still
it.
on it. It ain't right. You gotta have that
No
right.
man, I like my peel. I like my oranges ripe. Okay, I don't want to bite into
You
no
you want
apple and
it,
it's
it, it
still.
it's
Right,
easy.
right.
See, Shannon like to work when it's
Yeah,
right.
no, no. That's the exact. All these people talking about this. Nah, that's no.
That's
And here's
ridiculous.
another thing too.
Oh
We got to
God.
bring this up because R. Kelly, right? Got
Mm,
to bring him up. And I'm not saying it's the same thing as R. Kelly, but I'm gonna tell you this.
Oh
Remember when
man.
R. Kelly did that interview with old boy, and he said, well, how old would you date a teenager?
He said, well,
No,
how,
he
yeah,
said, will you
when he
date a young woman? And he was like, well, define young. And
hmm.
he said a teenager. And he said, well, 19 is a teenager. Remember when R. Kelly
yeah,
said
Oh,
I
that?
remember.
glory
I remember
no.
that like it was
We
yesterday.
thought we thought that he was a hot mess for saying that.
Yeah,
Mm, mm, mm.
And now this dude is older than R. Kelly was when R. Kelly said that. Because R. Kelly was not in his 50s when he said that. That was a long
Right,
time ago.
right.
So look at it that. That's one thing. And then two, the what I you obviously when we're around different, I go places like colleges and stuff like that where the women are like 25, 20, 22, 23. I might go to an event where I know everybody is over 21 on there and I see young girls and I just be like, no. It's just,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
It's an important part though. I bet you he wouldn't have been seen in public with her.
Right.
I bet you he wouldn't have
No,
been seen with in public with somebody that
Exactly.
age. He
That's the
he knew
thing.
he knew that would get basically with the money he got coming in the job that he has, he wouldn't have been seen in public with
but
her
she,
walking
but she
around.
was she was. I believe, if I'm correct from what I've read, that she's an OnlyFans chick.
Mm.
So
I don't care if she wasn't, whatever
no,
she
no.
is.
What I'm saying is that he
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be in public with her anyway. Like
No,
And
but
whether
that's
even
he,
if
his
she wasn't
answer
an
right there.
OnlyFans
If you
chick,
can't be seen
he,
in public with her,
he
you
would
I'm
can't
not
saying
be
be
even
no
if
no.
she was
bum.
older, even if she was
Right.
older,
That's
if she was an
ridiculous.
OnlyFans chick, he wasn't gonna be seen in public with her.
No, what I'm saying is if he wouldn't be seen in public with a 19-year-old girl, paparazzi's taking pictures, seeing that you're dating a 19, he wouldn't have gone publicly dating a 19-year-old. He knew that
Mm.
that would have been damaging to his brand and his money.
Oh
You see
yeah,
what I'm saying?
oh yeah.
So why are you even entertaining messing with this on the slender?
Because he got a fetish,
That's
bro.
it.
It's whatever
That's
that
it.
fetish is.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
She was
That's
fulfilling, and she had the criterias to fulfill what was ever on his list of things that he wanted
Yeah.
to accomplish.
Mm,
Right.
mm, mm.
And
And
that's
for
the
him to
that
be
and that
talking,
whatever his
yeah.
well, we call it sick whatever his desires were caused him to be in this situation.
Was in
Right.
His
the dark.
desires.
Gonna
Yes.
come to the
Because
light.
remember
Change
when they
the
was
light
talking
on.
about Epstein and all that type of stuff,
Yep.
Mm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking to myself, this is the question I have for these people. It's like they said, well, these people have a particular, want and craving for young girls. Well, I have a particular want and craving for 40 to 50-year-old women, right? Is their craving bigger than mine? Right? I got a craving too, right?
What you mean?
I'm saying is okay, they say they have a craving for teenagers, young girls. The
that's a
younger the better.
that's pedophilia.
I have a craving for women 40 and
See,
up,
that's
right?
it. You got to see.
And this is what I'm saying.
You legit though,
But
so
but
that
this is
ain't.
what I'm saying. I got it. My craving is huge. Okay, it's big.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna risk it all for no women that's 40 or something and up. Why are they willing to? These people were politicians. These people was big stars and stuff like that. What makes them their craving for little kids so much so big that they're willing to risk it all over? You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna risk it all over a 40 or 50-year-old woman, but they're willing to risk it all over a teenager. Is what I'm saying.
But
That
but but there
it's more.
there's a
It's what
difference.
I'm saying. It's something
It's
more. It's
something.
mental.
It's
It's more
deeper.
than
It's
just the
deeper than
craving.
that, though. I feel like it's
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
way
saying.
deeper than that. It's deeper
That's
than
my
what you're
point
talking
exactly. It's
about.
way deeper than just the
It's
But
craving.
deeper than that.
if a person is giving so for instance, the money part is a huge factor in that. The money and control. So people think they can buy, the money and control the whole situation. If the money can put you in a situation, the money can, purchase whatever you want. And that's the fantasy that people give, and then you kind of start living this lifestyle around these people, and then these are the things that Cat Williams and all these people talking about. You're in this environment, and once you get sucked into that environment, you almost feel like you are you have this superpower, and
Mm,
then you can get what you want when you want, how
mm,
you want, because you're that person, and then as long as you are doing the right things, you should be okay. So Shannon problem was that he thought he was checking off all the boxes. I think he's a very careful and calculated guy. That hey, we have this understanding, we have this agreement, we're good, right? I'm taking care of you, you taking care of me, we're good. We don't, but you once you start realizing that there are people that have ill intentions, that's where the agreement part goes out the door. So whatever his fetish is and all that type of stuff is, he not you trusting a 19-year-old with your career.
I don't care what the woman's age at that point when for what you're talking about, because a 50-year-old woman could have took him down the
yeah.
same way. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't even really matter at that point. A
Well,
50-year-old
I
woman
think
could have
the
took him
age is
down the
more
same
of
way.
what the problem is right now, not the actual situation. Because even the same thing with R. Kelly, you had women that was coming out that was in their 30s and stuff talking about he was doing it. Wasn't nobody paying attention to them old hags. They was worried about the little kids that he was dealing with, not them old hags talking about he
No,
was
his
doing
thing
stuff
is
with
the
them.
his thing is the violence part right now. I don't think it's even her age. It's the violence.
Mm,
It's the violence because she's saying because another woman came
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah.
Another woman came out and said that she filed something in 2023, and this was a production assistant on the set.
Oh Lord,
Now
they coming
this
for him.
yeah, and he supposedly choked her, but he said it was in a joking manner. And but that part right there, other people have kind of reported that though, so I'm not shocked that that came up. But then there was another woman, I think in 2014, that actually filed a case too that he paid off. So this is not his first time with choking. So he got some sort of choking fetish or
He got a
whatever.
choking sensation.
Yeah, because he
yeah.
choked the
It is.
production
It's a fetish. It's a
He
fetish.
got a
he choked
choking
the
fetish.
production assistant on the at the job.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He
they
got a
about
he
to
got a
start
choking
coming out.
sensation.
So that's what I'm
One
saying. Like
come one,
it's
come
not
all.
you can be freaky deaky all you want, but it's what you're willing to risk it all for and he put this woman in a position to be able to take down the ship. See, he could. You can go out there and, like, I understand what you're saying
But
about
but but but
getting
but
in
you
these
you think
circles
about
and
it though. Think about it though, Monty. Anybody can get got.
yeah,
Anybody can get got. Literally. Like there is no, because every environment that you're in, there's a trusting environment, right? And so anybody can be in a situation where you can end up being in a situation. Like like how you were talking about the tape and stuff. If you having an encounter, right? If that person secretly put their phone to do whatever, you know what I mean? How you going? Ain't nothing you can do. Ain't nothing you can do about
but
that.
you're saying this is what this is what I think you're saying. Let's say if I'm in a relationship with I'm 54, Lois will in the next month, and
Uh
then
huh.
you got like I'm dating a 45-year-old woman, right?
Right. Right.
And everything is going great. We have sexual, relationships, whatever. And then, but she's secretly out to get me.
Right.
You're saying that she could just, yeah, I can understand that she could get me because if she just really trying down for the setup like that.
Right. Like that was
I'm
her
saying,
intent going in.
yeah, but even then, I'm gonna be careful though. That's my point. If I got that much to lose, I'm gonna be careful. There's certain things I'm not gonna be doing in that situation to let you get me. Now, this is, what I mean, and I don't have $100 million contract on the way.
But it goes back
So
to what you were saying before, though, Monty. It
you can
goes
be, yeah,
back to you
anybody can be
saying.
got though.
It goes back to you mentioning, like, what if you in that situation and you doing everything right? It could be on Pornhub and it was good, right? Everything is legit. She
Right.
40 something years old. Everything is boom. You knocking out. But you still don't want that out because
She
now
can secretly take me, right.
yeah. You see what I'm saying? So it's not every situation a person could be in a position to
Yeah.
get got if you know what I mean.
Right.
A
That's
person
what
has ill intent.
let's bring this up. Remember when Kobe had got arrested that time and
Come
he
on.
and he dry snitched on Shaq?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, Jen, but what he said was that Shaq used to keep a tennis bracelet, a couple of tennis bracelets in his trunk or whatever, or his glove box, and every time he was messing around with somebody, he would just drop, hey, here's a little gift.
Mm.
So the woman would feel like, oh, okay, what I mean,
She
when
was
he was
special.
that she
Hmm.
was special, and then not want to just, if he
Feel
has some
you.
sort of encounter or whatever in some city or whatever, that she don't feel like I can just stick you. Because
Right, right.
at the end of the day, let's talk about this. All these people are at risk. You
Right.
Yes,
have to you are at
Right.
risk. So
yes.
that's what I'm saying is you got to be extra careful because you right. Anybody could be got.
Mm.
I agree with that 100%. So you got to be an extra, take extra precautions. But it just don't sound like he was taking extra precautions. But when you talking about a
Not at all.
19-year, when you take a 19-year-old,
Whew.
she knows that it ain't gonna be more than that.
I feel like she was
You see what
already
I'm saying?
in to
She
get
knows
him.
that. She
Yeah.
knows it ain't going nowhere.
I knew she was already in. I feel like she was already in to stick him for what he had from jump already. It was
From the
already,
jump. Right, right.
yeah.
And she's an OnlyFans person, so you know she
And
all
that's
about her getting her
that
bread.
right there.
Right.
It was all about the payday. That's what it was
She
all
all about her
about.
bread
Yeah.
from jump
Period.
from day one. You
That's
know
what it
that kind of
was.
person.
That's what
And
it
you know,
was.
and you know, that's another thing too. A lot of these dudes keep getting got by the same woman that just got the last dude.
Come on, look. You better say
We could go down the list. These
Hey,
Negroes is
they be
falling for the
passing
same
the chick
same
around, man. I
scam by
don't
the
know what
that.
be
same
going
That's
on.
person.
sad.
That's what I'm
That's
talking
all
about.
bad. Yes.
It's
Yes.
certain people. If I was to make it famous a year from now, Lois will. I'm not going. It's going to be some people that I'm going. If they walk up to me, I'm running the other direction. I'm not shaking their hand. I'm not doing nothing.
Now you know Gil brought this up on Gil's Arena.
That's
Uh, this
sad.
whole conversation about athletes and stuff like that. That is chicks that they mess with that they know that have been vetted. Like they're like
Yeah.
celebrity smash chicks that
Right.
they've been vetted. They ain't gonna
They
say
get passed
nothing.
around.
They ain't gonna, they're trusted. They're trusted chicks that you can go and hang with,
Right.
and
Right.
they ain't
Right.
gonna
Right.
do
Right.
nothing. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
they're the platinum star
Boy, don't that.
female. These
Boy, there's
females
that.
that they have that, and Gil was spilling all the
Yeah.
info,
Yeah. I'm
man.
gonna get the list. I'm gonna get the list.
That's sad.
Yeah. So it's like, guys be like, man, if I'm going, because they have so much at stake. When you really think about it, you got guys, it's their first generation money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's guy that, never really had much. So it's like when people is in your ear that's talking like us, like, man, you got to watch yourself. You got to be careful. You got to make sure that you ain't doing this, and that. Then these guys say, oh, these chicks is vetted, man. They ain't going to say nothing.
Mm,
So then
Yeah.
now you feel like, oh, I feel safe
mm.
to go and mess with, because I'm
Yeah,
trying
I
to get
understand that.
off,
Yep.
but I can't just get off with anybody.
But
So,
then, but somebody, but then even those women that was vetted, somebody mess
yep,
up and get one of them pregnant or something like that.
yep,
And that's what
Now
they
you
looking
got
for.
now she has now she has a pension plan. You know what I'm saying? You didn't give her a
mm-hmm,
pension plan.
out the
When the
gate.
last five dudes didn't give her no baby or nothing like that, they was careful, they was whatever. Then she gonna get her one. And whatever she might reach a certain age where she was like, okay, I done played enough. Time for me to go ahead and
Time for me
have
to
this
cash
baby.
out.
Yep.
Time for
Yeah,
me to, time for me to cash
yeah.
out.
Then she had that baby and she cashed out on another one.
It's a few of them that
She
done
keep
already did
cashing
that
out.
in the industry. That got babies by 3, 4 different dudes in the
Right.
in industry, and they
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
all cool. You know what I'm saying? You talking about Omarion and his baby mama and Lil Fizz, and
and little fizz.
they
Mm-hmm.
all share the same baby mama, and it's like, why
Right.
she April? She did this on purpose. She did this on purpose. So now she's set for life. She got a baby with Lil Fizz, Omarion, and ain't no telling. I think it's another dude too, and they all cool with each other in the same group. So
Yeah.
she getting paid from 3 different dudes in the industry, 3 of them
She cashing
Yeah.
out.
cashing out. And who else did it? I think Chris Brown too. Chris Brown too. He one of them that got a share a baby mama with 2 different other dudes in the industry. So
Yeah.
it's not the first. It's not the
Yeah.
first. That's how they get down.
And Shannon just act like he's a germaphobe, like he just don't want to. I don't know. I can't be doing this. Can't be doing it. It's just so. But
Shannon
like I
showing that
said,
he
Okay.
out here nasty with it.
he was showing some weaknesses in his game, though, Patrick. I'm telling you,
Uh.
because some of the stuff that he said about black women was questionable to me, and the fact that
Mm,
he kept bringing it up, and because you could tell when something touches like a sore note with him, because he would just go off on a rant about
He'll
it.
go
Something
on a
little
rant.
come up.
mm,
Little tiny thing will come up that really even had nothing to do with that. And then he'll be like, oh, well, see, when I do this and I do that, when that person doing that, but when I do it, it's wrong. And then he'll go off on a 5-minute rant. And that tells me that he had something inside that he was hiding. And then
mm.
another
Yeah,
thing that he
he
would
hiding a
do
whole
too,
lot.
Oh
and
wow.
I think we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but the colorism thing, he did some colorism stuff that I thought was, was risque.
It's a video that
Especially
I found on there. I gotta share that too, in regards to what you just said about the colorism. Cause I
of
seen
him.
the yes, I seen the
Oh, yeah,
video.
no, no. Yeah. He would say some he would say some make some colorism comments, and I'm thinking that why are you saying this when
Right.
you know 95% of the people watching this are black people, a
That's what
lot
I'm
of them are
saying.
women, and you already have that stigma of dating white women anyways.
It's a video. I'm gonna
You
share it.
shouldn't
Yep.
be toying around with that type of stuff. Like I'm not gonna be saying like,
Woo.
oh yeah, I saw this fine one, light skin. I'm not gonna. I don't care. I'm not gonna say what color she was.
Right.
I
Because
don't
they
need to
showed a
throw that
video
in
about
there.
5 different women that he was with, and they were all white women, and it's crazy because and then they showed a actual video of him when he was giving commentary about the same thing that you was
Yeah.
talking about, and it's like wow,
Yeah.
like that's how you feel
Right.
about your own. I mean, your own people, like, and then look, I ain't gonna talk about them saying he part of the Rainbow Crew too, so and that's why he's
Uh
doing.
oh.
Yeah, I mean that's a
Oh,
whole.
Jen.
Yo, look, I ain't gonna step on that.
Well, I mean, I don't believe that. I don't. But I think everybody he's been caught with was a woman. So he
Yeah,
done got
yeah,
busted. He got busted on tape on that other thing. How many months ago was that? That
yeah.
was
He
less
had
than a
the he
year
had
ago.
the video. He went
Right.
Instagram live or something. And he was
Yeah.
Oh, that was the
he was
first
busting
one. Yeah,
somebody
that
back
was the
down.
first
Right.
one.
And
Yep,
so he
that was
got
the
busted
first
by that,
video.
and it's like that was a shocker. That was it made him look like a hypocrite because he goes at Ocho. He tried to make Ocho seem so tiny and so small. I know Ocho somewhere, like really just. I know Ocho, I know behind the scenes. Like I've watched this show a couple of times.
Yeah,
Really
he got to be mad.
one all the way through since this happened. and I watched just a little couple of clips because I wanted to see what they had to say about Shador. But I know Ocho behind the scenes cussed him out.
Mm.
He had to. Because Ocho went off on him when the other video came, or the audio, or that other thing, the live thing came on. Ocho, went after him and was like, "Yo, you always talking about me, and look
Now
what you
what?
doing."
Yeah, you
You
got
know
to
what I
get
mean? You,
yourself
you,
together, Shannon.
yeah, you put the bag in jeopardy.
Now
But
what?
also, Shannon Sharpe is going to be stepping away from ESPN until the NFL season
Because it's
starts.
begin. Yeah.
So he decided that
He
he
ain't gonna
went to
make it back.
ESPN, supposedly. Went and talked to him. I know Stephen A. Smith had some commentary of responding to
He
the
did. I seen that
actual
video too.
incident as well. So
Yeah.
we'll see how if Effie will even be back, probably pending how all of this pans out, and Effie still keeps his fan base. And I think that's where the rest of them will kind of be checking to see exactly how he's going to land after all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's people defending him. I mean, there's people defending. Like I say, at the end of the day, I believe that it was she set him up. I don't believe. I think it was all consensual, and I believe it's a total setup. I'm just going off of him as a person. I cannot let that go, bro.
Yeah,
The stuff that
yeah,
you, the hypocrite
he
stuff,
got
the
to hold up
hypocritical
to
stuff.
that.
You got to own up to that, and you
He
need to
got to
take
hold up
all
to
them
that,
lumps.
man. Even if
You
it's a
need to take all
shakedown,
them lumps.
whatever, you got to be a little bit more careful on how you know how you move, man, and who you
Yeah,
dealing with. So he had a bunch of warning from Cat Williams and Mama Monique, Auntie
yeah.
Monique, trying to give him some game on trying to get him a little sugar, give him an old gal. Ain't that what she said? She said, "Give him an
Yeah,
old gal,
and she right. And it's
make you some smothered pork
you know how
chops,
many
some neck bones."
beautiful women, how many beautiful women over 40 or over 40 out there that he do all the same freaky stuff that he wants to.
Yeah.
That
No.
he did all that same stuff he could do it to them.
He want the fresh diaper booty.
Yeah.
That's what he
Now he
want.
can't
He said,
control them.
"Jen,
He probably
you out of
can't
pocket.
control them like he want.
You out of
He want
pocket."
the fresh diaper
He
booty. That's
said,
what he
"Fresh
want.
diaper booty.
Yeah.
You out of pocket. You out of pocket."
Yeah. Still got the baby oil still on him. He
Still
got
got the
Oh
on the
no,
booty.
man,
Still got
not the baby
Similac
oil,
on her
Monty.
breath.
still got the baby powder still on her.
Still got the
Baby oil,
Similac on
baby
her breath.
powder.
Look, he want the Similac. He
Oh
cold for
man,
that. He know he
that's what
wrong.
they said.
Mm.
Oh, somebody tripping at the airport. Don't mind me. Uh, oh, they came up. Oh, okay, yeah, they tripping. But anyway,
Cutting up at
in
the
other
airport
news,
like that.
in other
You look
news,
like that. You look like that. You know what you look like? You remember that video of Dr. Umar he was going live at the airport and the police came up to him and they said, somebody said that you was, that a black man was over here talking to himself. Remember
oh yeah,
that?
did he show? He was like, "No, man, I'm talking to the people over here."
Yeah.
Not them cutting up like
They were like,
that.
who said that? They were like, who called the
Now,
people?
I think we gonna be coming back talking about this Shannon Sharpe situation. This definitely won't be the last
Oh
conversation for
yeah, we gotta
sure.
follow up on this
We
because boy,
definitely gonna be
look.
following up on that. But also,
Mm.
we did bring up the Shador Sanders, um, him in the draft. It was a huge controversy that was put on that. Talking about he was supposed to be drafted in the first round. This, that. Man, we end up drafted in the fifth round. Got drafted by the Cleveland Browns, but there was a lot of controversy around him actually um, being blackballed in some type of way. That it was some issues that could have been his cockiness and his interviews. It was so many people that was split on their reactions to what happened. But we'll check this out and then we'll talk about it. Hold on, let me get y'all right. Here we go.
And they only have themselves to blame here. And I'm not talking about 20 years of Dion being outspoken. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this pre-draft process. They called their shot early. that Dion was going to be like Archie Manning and they were going to try to get Shador where he wanted to go, like Eli.
I totally agree with you, but you think that what about all the other stuff?
Well, what's the other stuff?
The fact that Dion is a successful college football coach who said, "I want to coach my son in the NFL." Again, I kept saying, you don't think Kellen Moore heard that quote? Like, you're going to draft a guy whose dad wants to take your job and is super famous? How about the fact that Dion is incredibly opinionated? He went to Colorado and cut his entire team on the spot. He does not hold back. If Shador's not playing and the starter is struggling even a little bit, he is way too involved in this. And if you're a team, it's that I totally agree with you, but it's not just that; it's everything. Dion is a huge.
All right. So, what's your thoughts on this
For
whole
one,
Deion
let me
Sanders?
let me correct something that he said. Dion did not say I want to coach in the NFL and I want to coach my son. He said I don't want to coach in the NFL, and he said the only way I would if I was to be able to coach my son, or it was that type of situation. So
Right.
that was quoted that guy there. I don't know who that is. Mr. Misquote said that's not what Dion said. Go ahead.
No, I totally agree with that. That he misquoted Dion for sure,
Yeah.
in saying that he should, the cockiness part. Yeah, they got some cockiness to them, who they are, um, the prospects. I think it was a couple of things that happened that I personally, as I looked at it from an employer standpoint, that was some issues. Uh, he didn't do the combine.
A lot of people don't. Go ahead.
Well, if you want to be, when we say a lot of people don't,
Cam Ward didn't do it either.
but right, but with that, I would say I'm just pointing out some of the things that some of the
Hmm.
people were saying. Didn't do the combine. They said that in interviews that he was a bit, I guess, cocky or whatever. They were saying that there were certain teams that he didn't want to play for. That was another issue. Um, so then, if there's a certain amount of, a lot of teams already got their quarterback, right? So that lessens you to the amount of teams that you're going to be able to go to.
Right.
And if you don't want to play for them and you're already telling them you don't want to play for them, then how many more options do you have? And then from that, well, if we know the other teams ain't going to get you, then we don't got to get you in the first, second, and third round, right? Like it's almost like a business. So you almost shoot yourself in the foot once you tell a person like, "Hey, we don't want to play for this team, and this team," and then these other teams ain't gonna get you because they already got the Lamar Jacksons and Patrick Mahomes
Yeah.
and stuff, right? Like,
Right. That
so
made it easier. That made
yeah, it
it
makes it
easier.
so much
So
easier. So that means we ain't got to get you in the first rounds. You lowered your own stock by just saying that you're not gonna play for these teams.
Hmm.
Like people ain't even looking at it from that perspective. If you're an owner and you sitting back and you looking like, oh man, I ain't gotta pick him right now. Then he don't want to play for them. He don't want to play for them. He don't want to play for them. Like he done already told him he don't want to play for him. They ain't gonna draft him.
and these people know who they talk to each other, so they know who they're gonna draft.
Yep,
Like they may know
they make deals.
5 picks ahead of them. Like who are you gonna pick? And are you not gonna get him? Oh, okay, you sure? All right, then he can keep sliding. So that
Yep.
that makes it easier for this. I still think there was a lockout though. They went in to teach him a lesson. They went in to teach him some humbleness. Serve him a slice of humble pie.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I mean, his whole, I mean, it has a lot to do with his attitude and him within his own self. Like you said, they did it to serve him a piece of humble pie. Because
Yeah,
sometimes you need to be humble. Sometimes somebody need to humble you in order for you to get right and act right. So
but here's the thing about that humbleness part. Because people throw that word out in this situation just like loosely, and the kid is not. His personality is such a way to where he's he's flashy. He wears a lot of expensive stuff and he buys a lot of expensive stuff. But he's not somebody that I would consider cocky.
Who
When
was
you
that?
watch his, I wouldn't consider Shador cocky because he's flashy and he has a lot of money, but I wouldn't consider him cocky. He's confident because a cocky person is the type of, you don't even want to be around a cocky person. You know what I mean? Like if you look at his interviews, I don't care who he meets. It could be like a little kid on the street. It could be an elderly person. It could be a football person. It could be whatever. They're real courteous kids.
Yeah, he
Dion's
is.
kids
Yeah,
aren't
yeah,
aren't um aren't
yeah.
jerks and arrogant and act. You know what I mean? You know how when you're around an
Mm-hmm.
arrogant person, you almost want to fight an arrogant. I've had encounters where I had worked in a client or something, and the dude is real arrogant. I get rubbed a certain sort of way. I'm like, man, he giving me that vibe. Like I think we're gonna have to chunk him if this dude, you know what I'm saying, keep
Mm-hmm.
this up. And I'm in a situation where I can't even be anywhere close to even saying nothing weird because I'm at work or whatever. But I'm saying is their cockiness or their arrogance comes off a certain way where I feel like I
Mm-hmm.
want to, you know what I mean? It sparks that man in me that like,
Okay.
okay, I'm feeling some sort of way. These people, his kids aren't like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
But
When you see them talk, they're not arrogant like that. They're not.
now, OG Bobby Johnson said that it wasn't a lot of quarterbacks needing in the draft, and
That's
that
true.
was one of the things that
That
I
is true.
stated as well. Like, is I don't think that, but what you're saying, Mike, I don't think that they're cocky in that sense. But when you're going to like you can be like a courteous individual, right? And we gotta break this down to like our own personal jobs and stuff, right? So you're going to go and interview for somebody to hire you, right? Like
Yeah.
you want a job from them. They don't need you, you need them. And this is where I hate when they try to give this comparison to slavery with football and all this bull crap. Somebody about to pay you millions of dollars.
Right.
Okay? Let's
I don't
get
like
this
that
straight.
comparison. I don't like that either.
I don't like that comparison when they do that crap. Just like any other employer. You go and you sit down for an interview, you showing your best qualities, who you are, and this type your personality and stuff. If they're saying if you have multiple owners are saying that you're having a bad interviews, what you saying in your interviews?
Mm.
Well, that's what my point. I don't think he's
Mm.
I don't think he's going in there being rude and all that sort of stuff. I think they're looking at him from a distance as this flashy black male and putting a certain stigma on him automatically walking in the door. So now they're expecting him to bow down like they do to us. They're expecting a certain amount of bow downness, and he didn't do that. That's what I feel like happened.
What's the bow down that people are expecting?
They're expecting you to feel like, oh, like you're just so gracious, so humble. I'm so glad to be here to get this job. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank
That's
you,
what they
master.
want you to do. Because I'm gonna tell you this story. I remember when Vince Young was playing, right? Remember his senior year and he beat USC in the they beat USC in the national championship game. Remember
Mm-hmm.
Vince Young, the quarterback?
Uh-huh.
Man had an awesome game, right? Awesome game. And he got on the and this is back when, they was always saying, oh, they need to be so humble or whatever. And he did his interview at
That
the end of the
OG.
game. He did his interview at the end of the
That
game,
right
right?
there. I was gonna say
And
the same thing. Maybe he don't know how to do interviews. I was just
no,
about
no,
to
no,
say
no. What you talking? Okay.
that.
Fin- fin-
I'm reading the comments. What he was
Oh,
just
okay.
saying. Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
he he goes up and he does his interview at the end of the game where they walk up with the mic, they take your helmet off, literally that interview. And I thought he did an awesome job. He thanked everybody. He thanked the coaches. He thanked his offensive line. He thanked the defense. He did all this stuff. And I'm so glad to, win this. And, the school gave me a chance, blah, blah, blah. And I remember thinking to myself, that's a great interview. And then nobody going to be able to say nothing about that. You know what I mean? They ain't going to be able to say nothing about that
They
interview.
critiqued it, didn't they?
And I went to work the next day. The guy I work with, white guy, he was like, "Oh, you see the game last night?" I said, "Oh yeah, I saw that game. Great game, man. Vince Young did good." Da, da, da. He's, "Oh man, he did an awesome job." And the white guy said, "But I saw that interview afterwards, and I just felt like he wasn't humble enough. Like he should have been a little bit more humble on that interview." And I remember thinking to myself, like, "What? What do you want the man to do? Like he got to literally jump on his knees and just thank and beg and cry and beg y'all." You know what I mean? Like his talent is what won that game, and I'm telling you, his interview was fine. But it's
I
like
was
we got
gonna
to
be
go to
about it
such
like
a
that.
high. It's such a high bar for us to jump over for us the humbleness. Now, when you talking about Dion and his sons, they're on the polar opposite. Like Dion was one of the most hated people in the NFL, and they actually take a poll for this. They actually take a poll, and he was voted. And I remember seeing that years ago, and I remember thinking like, Dion, like, what does he do for people to hate him?
That's my
And
dude.
then
I
I
don't
thought
care.
like, oh wow, I know he's just so flamboyant, and he just so himself,
Mhm.
and he
That's
doesn't bow
Dion.
down, and he doesn't code switch, he don't do anything. He's just gonna be Dion,
He gonna
Yep.
be
and he
Dion.
was hated for that. He was
Yep.
voted the most hated. So that's what I'm saying is there's part of that in here. Yes, you do have to play some sort of game to get a job. And I'm gonna play whatever, you know what I'm saying? If I gotta go to a job, I'm not gonna come in there. I know I'm not gonna come in there with no big chains on and with a chicken bone wing in my hand or something like that. I know I'm not gonna be doing that. You know what I mean? I'm a dressed up. We all gotta put on a tie and do whatever, and we can act however we're gonna act once we get the job. I understand that. What I'm saying is he had a high bar because the talk before this is where Dion them messed up. It was the talk beforehand
Mhm.
because
Yep.
the media brought up this narrative a year in advance. Oh, what happens when he's going to get there? And are you going to do an Archie Manning and da 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 da? And Dion didn't like totally knock that out. He didn't totally knock that down. He said he wasn't, but he said stuff like, "Oh, you know, if I don't have to, you know," because Dion, that
Nah,
stuff,
he didn't
that
say
stuff,
that.
huh?
This Dion stated, "I'm going to tell my son what team he's going to be able to play for." He
Yeah,
was
I
sitting
know.
out. He did an interview with Charmer that he wasn't going to be able to play for certain people.
I know,
Like,
but I'm saying is, but there was times when he downplayed that too. Is what I'm saying.
no, I'm saying I'm just stating. Even though if he downplayed it, these are statements that he's making.
I know, but you
That
didn't let me
he's
get to that part.
okay.
I'm saying is he downplayed it sometimes, and then sometimes he said it. But my point, but the point is that he didn't downplay it. He fed into the media and let that narrative be out there. You see what I'm saying? That's what my
Right,
point is. He let that
right.
narrative be out there when I would have been like, if I was gonna do something like that, it's gonna be totally behind the scenes and everybody gonna know it. But Dion got a big ego, and that felt good to him for people to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And the son wasn't saying that sort of stuff. Like he wasn't like, what happened? You there? Either way, the son was. I think Dion's. I think he could have like. You there? You there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I'm saying I think that's the mistake that they made because in today's media is different. You got all this chitter chatter, you got all these people talking, you got all these blogs, you got all these YouTube pages, all these Snapchat pages of people running with that narrative so they can get clicks and likes. And what you got to understand that there's other people on the other side that's hearing that who's feeling some kind of way. You
mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? The people that he got to interview now now when he walks in, they looking at you under a microscope now.
Yep.
They looking at
You
things that
put a microscope on yourself.
they wouldn't have looked at otherwise because of that narrative was bumping and it was all in the media for a
Yep.
year at least, which that came back to bite him because they're looking at him like, well, you're not as good as you think you are. We can let you slide. You know what I mean? Because at the end
And,
of the
and that's
day,
the other thing is that Shadur is good, and I think he's a fantastic player, man. But he ain't Dion. Like we gotta
he's
we
not Dion.
gotta we gotta understand the swag gotta match the play, and if you can't, it's like LeBron, it's like Bronny Jr. Bronny James
He
coming in
couldn't have
acting
did
like he LeBron, bro. You not LeBron coming
that.
in, bro. Like
Right.
you a good player, develop. But you can't come in acting like you LeBron. You see what I'm saying? And I think he has the swag of his daddy, Deion Sanders. But bro, you Shador Sanders. You ain't got that pedigree like Deion did when he had to do the combine and he ain't want to do it. And that the historical story of him showing up in the limbo, running his 40 and keep running and just went on to the back to the limo. Like
Yeah.
that was his combine.
Because Dion could have got away. Dion could have got away with anything, and
Right.
it was also that famous story of him saying that people calling him for an interview, and he asked them, which one, where are you picking? Oh, I'm not gonna be there, so I don't even need to do your interview. I'm gonna be picked before that. Like
I'm gonna
that's
be picked
that.
before that.
That's what they
But
no, he
he's a
couldn't pull that.
generational talent, right? Like these
Yeah.
were guys that were coming out of college, like LeBron coming out of high school. They were already predestined as a generational talent. Like Zion coming out of college, generational talent. Like it wasn't. It's
Yeah.
nothing that Shador didn't have that type of hype. Now he didn't have the hype like a Travis Hunter had. Travis Hunter is being viewed as a generational talent, but all of this hype is literally taken away from Travis Hunter's spotlight of him being drafted second overall. Like,
Oh yeah.
and then they even highlighted the sad part is that they highlighted Travis Hunter's, and we're gonna talk about this on another show. Travis Hunter's father's record and stuff. Like they were highlighting his father's past and him being able to come and they gave him a release to be, you know what I mean? Like you bringing up this
Right.
troubling issue of his father while we're trying to celebrate his greatness. You know what I mean? Like you're making that a narrative for this young man that have come up and put himself in this position and has help from his family and of course Dion and others. But that shouldn't be, what I mean, part of his narrative of who he is and who uh he shouldn't have to combat that with celebrating uh him being the second overall
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah. Only thing I would say to that is that the dad was on probation, right? And the dad couldn't go to the Heisman. So they
Right.
already knew this, so he couldn't go. And then he got a special whatever waiver or something like that to be able to come to this. So it was gonna be a story. It would be hard for them not to, it would be kind of crazy for them not to do that story.
Still gotta walk
So
the
I
beat.
kind of knew they was gonna do something. I didn't know they was gonna actually highlight the actual charges and all that. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
didn't
That's
think
kind of
so either.
crazy. That was
Yeah.
crazy. Like but you have to mention that he was on a special waiver because that's almost like a success. I didn't see how they did it, but it could be looked at as a success story. You know what I mean? Like your dad, blah blah blah, was was trying to be there, and he even though he's going through all this adversity, he still made it and that sort of thing. Those are the kind of things you kind of you look back on, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when the story is being told years from now, sort of thing. But yeah, I can't see them actually. I can't condone them actually bringing up the charges and bringing up his rap sheet and talking to his cellmate and all that type of stuff. They probably
Mm-hmm.
interviewing,
Right.
going and finding the victim, and then, what do you think about it? The guy you stole those hubcaps from or whatever. I don't know how you got there, but whatever you did, they're gonna interview the dude. That's messed up.
Not the hubcap.
but do y'all think and we about to wrap up here in a second. I gotta get on this plane. But do y'all think Shador would be humbled by this? Or do y'all think that,
Oh yeah.
this is something going to like put a fire up under him and make him like go ball out?
He's gonna go. It's gonna put a fire up on him, and it's gonna humble him. It's gonna do both. If
Both.
this
Yep.
don't
I
humble
was
you,
gonna say both
I
of them.
I know it is gonna humble him because
He
they
about to go hard.
you see the press conference that they did. They made it seem like, oh yeah, we got him. He was cheap. It wasn't too much to pay for him at this point in time. And yeah, and then you gotta realize too, he's
That's who
on a
his
team with
father
five
is.
different players. It's five coaches. I mean, not five coaches, five quarterbacks on the
Yeah, I was
team
about
on
to
the
say it's
Browns.
5 quarterbacks on there.
Yeah. Now, Deshaun Watson or Deshaun Watson probably won't play this year because he has Achilles. So they got Joe Flacco, and you got to remember they drafted another dude in the third round.
Yep.
So let's just say, and this would be a conspiracy theory, but let's just say um, they did this on purpose to knock him down a notch. So therefore, okay, we wanted him because remember the Browns wanted him in the first place. Remember they was
Yeah, they
talking
wanted him
about.
for they wanted him
Right.
anyway.
They wanted him. But now we got you. And now we can tell your dad to keep your behind out of this mess and be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Because your son might not even make the team. So now Dion is like, oops, hold on. You know what I mean? Now you could really tell Dion to be quiet. Now you
That's
could
true. You
now
ain't
you
at the
could tell,
mercy of like he
right,
your only QB.
right. Because if he would have walked in, if you would have picked him third or whatever, fourth, he walked in with all them chains and did his thing, that whole entourage and that whole mix would have moved on to the next level. Now you saying like, yo, we don't want to see any of your entourage. We don't want to see no gold change. It's hard work here, buddy. And he'd have been like, yeah, okay. Now that's what he's gonna do now. He's not coming in with all that mess. Now he got to work his
Okay.
way to that mess, and that's they winning just on that. They
So
winning
what's
just
your
on
thought?
that.
What's your thoughts, Jen?
I ain't got no thoughts. I just know he gonna come in and he gonna do his thing. I just know that exactly what Monty was saying. I feel like he is humble at the same time, but he got some smoke under him. You know, I feel like he gonna come in there, he gonna do his job like he's supposed to. I mean, look who his father is. He's not gonna tolerate none of that. He got some good people behind him. So I just believe no matter what he do, people you gonna have people that's gonna critique what he do. Period. You're gonna have them
Mm-hmm.
people that's gonna have something to say no matter what you do. So
Yeah, and he got haters galore. He got a lot of haters. Like
yeah.
Zion had a lot of haters. Think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Zion had a lot of haters, and Zion is the biggest smile, nicest guy
Yep.
you ever been in
Yep.
the. He's arguably one of the nicest guys that ever been in the NBA. You can say that he's on the Mount Rushmore, of the nicest dudes ever, and he got haters galore. I remember people were saying that he was gonna be a bust at Duke. His game is not going to translate. He's not going to do anything at Duke. He was arguably one of the most dominant college players ever that one season at Duke. And they said his
Yep.
game wasn't going to translate to the NBA. He came in the NBA dunking on everybody, punking big men,
Mm.
punking grown men.
Punking
Oh,
grown man.
So
punking
Punking
opinions
grown
don't
man.
mean
man.
anything what they're gonna say about
Sure
you. You
don't.
get out there and you play, you're
Come
gonna be able
on.
to do your thing.
Yeah. I don't even like the Browns, but I want to see what he's gonna do. I want to see what he about.
Yeah, his jerseys and stuff, is already up.
I
They're
gotta
gonna
see.
be, hopefully selling and stuff. So they're gonna be trying to, capitalize off of him for
Yeah, they're gonna
sure.
capitalize on it. They're gonna make a bunch of money, and they
They're
Oh, they
gonna
can't
make
basically
a
tell him,
gang
"Oh,
of money.
you gotta make
what?
the team now. You gotta make the
Right.
team. You gotta make the team." And he looking at it like these people. He know he gotta make the team.
Yeah, he do. And I
He know
mean,
that.
Joe Flacco, he's a steady quarterback no matter where he goes. So he's
Yeah,
he's one of those run of the mill quarterbacks that can kind of sustain a team. He's not great, he's not phenomenal, but he's not gonna do too much, but he can sustain a
right,
team. So you gotta outbeat a guy that has been proven to be someone that can manage the
right.
team. They ain't gonna do no big plays and nothing like that, but
And he
they
can
can make
manage the
sure
team.
that they don't do too many turnovers.
Yeah,
They can get the ball up the field. Especially with the weapons that the Browns have, they should be able to have a decent season. But he definitely got his work cut out for him.
yeah. And you and Flacco can play on day one. Like
Yep,
that any team to get him noted, you can put him in on day
but you
one, and
can
we can
plug him in.
right we can plug him in on day one. And so
You can
but
plug
I
him in
think the interesting thing is they drafted a quarterback in the third round though.
in the third round. That was
Yeah,
crazy to me.
right,
That was crazy to me. That if
right.
they
So
really wanted Shador, right, like, why would you even wait to get him in the fifth round? Because if you already got a quarterback in the third, you would have picked him in the third if you wanted a
and
quarterback.
and that would have humbled him right there.
Yeah, like
The
you,
third
you,
round would have humbled
yeah,
him.
third round would even hum. But what
Yeah,
was the point of you wasted? Because at that point, you're just wasting the pick as the
you're
Browns.
wasting the pick because you can get something good in the third round.
Yeah, you could have got
You could have
something
got
way
a
better in the
lineman.
third
You could
round,
have got a
and they need
lineman. You could have got
linemen.
yeah, just a lot of stuff. So that's why I'm like, that's odd right there.
Yeah, that was crazy, crazy, crazy. But y'all put in the comments what y'all thoughts are about what's gonna happen with Shador. Is he gonna ball out or is he going to fold? Y'all let us know in the comments, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in for another show. About to get on this plane, but before we head up out of here, tell us how they can get in touch with y'all. Go ahead, Monty and Jen.
Monty C. Wilson on Instagram and Facebook, just like my name is spelled, Monty C. Wilson. Thank you.
Y'all can check in with me at Persevering Jen on all platforms or Persevere with Purpose. Tap in with me.
All right. Of course, it's your man, Pastor the Game Changer Jackson. Man, listen, make sure that y'all hit the like, share, subscribe button. Make sure that y'all go follow us on the Game Changer Show on all platforms. Also, PJ Game Changer on Instagram, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in one more time with us, man. We appreciate y'all always. Love y'all. One love.